Alright guys, so I've been seeing a lot of people struggle with playing Frostpunk 2. It's a little bit harder than the first game. Well, a lot of people have said that anyways, and it doesn't really explain how to do a lot of the things that you're supposed to do. And so I thought that I would just give a quick guide to the first couple months and years. Just to get most people settled. That's when most people fail, is the first little bit. So we're just going to start in week 1 of chapter 1. We're not going to do the prologue. I've got it on Captain difficulty, so it's the hardest difficulty. So if you can do it like this, you can do it on any difficulty.
Steward.
So it's just a prologue. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pause. Okay, and you're gonna take a look at your frost breaking here. So frost breaking is how you access other resources. So in the original games, you built roads. In this game, you don't. You frost break, which is where you tear up the snow to where you want to go. So the first thing that you're supposed to do is supposed to find coal. There's only a couple of different resources here for coal. Because I guess by lore-wise, you've used most of it. So you're supposed to dig rid of those. And you're supposed to get housing. Because you can see here, it's a little bit higher than what most people are used to. Because this is Captain difficulty, so it provides less. But what you're gonna want to do is you're going to take advantage of these crevices here. Get 3. Spread them out like this. And the reason why you do it like this is because you're getting that advantage for having the housing in the crevice, and you're also having an advantage for having the houses bundled up like that. Or actually, that's not optimal. We'll do that. And so now, these houses require almost no heat whenever they're done. And a house is 20 of your population. So you see right here, you're 102 houses in debt, which means that you need 5 districts. Now, you don't actually have to house everyone to stop them from dying. Usually I found that if you have like minus 11 or so, you're usually fine, but we're going to go ahead and do it because we have the resources to do it in the beginning. You're going to want to frost break over here, because this area over here is another crevice, so it gives you shelter and heat, which is what you want. And then we're going to go ahead and play. And we're going to go ahead and frost break this area as well to get those resources. Now you start off with a little bit of food. Not a lot, that's going to go really fast, but it's enough to make it to where you don't have to worry about it. And so everything's building here. We're going to take a look. We want to dig our way down here to this logistics depot and this one over here, so that way we can explore the frostland. I'm going to go ahead and speed it up here. And as soon as this is done frost breaking, we're going to pause it, do this again, and we're going to dig our way over here, and we're going to dig our way over here, get all of this coal. And we're going to build an extraction district on this first coal deposit. Oh, we can't do that yet. We're going to wait for that to dig up. We'll do an extraction district here on these prefabs. And we don't want to build it within the heat zone of houses because that'll cause squalor. And we'll build one here on these because we have enough population for it. And then see, we've got our houses now. Our houses are built. We still don't have a heat source because these are still frost breaking, but what we're going to do is we're going to expand one of these. It doesn't really matter which. That's just so we can put a research place on it. Do an extraction district here. And oh, so we're out of heat stamps, which is like what you pay people. So we're gonna go to the Frostlanders and we're gonna ask them for a loan. Give it to us. They don't get very mad in the beginning when you ask. I mean, it's kind of expected that you're going to ask for it in the beginning, especially if you're playing on such a high difficulty. So don't worry if your relations aren't great in the beginning, because that's just gonna be the reality of the situation. Build that research institute in this here. So now we're gaining coal. People aren't gonna start freezing for the first week or two, or the first 15 or so weeks, so we can go ahead and get a little stockpile here. Now the first thing they want you to do is research coal mines. Go ahead and take it over. The first thing I want you to do is research coal mines. I always go for housing installation, just because that helps you save up. And then we'll go ahead and, because we don't need all that extra space, we'll turn this down here. We'll turn this down here, so now we have just enough. We're not using as much heat. And then we'll go ahead and we'll turn on the furnace just so no one dies. Then we'll build a logistics depot here and a logistics depot here.
The steward appreciates all your adoring letters and will answer.
Steward!
So people gather on the generator tower as it wakes with a thundering shudder and bestows heat on us yet again. This is basically what you get whenever you turn it on. Someone's born. Bam. Let these things build. We're still getting a little bit, even though it's still cold. Now we can explore the Frostland, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to explore above us. We're going to explore to the east. Or west, sorry. And we can also explore... No, we can't. I don't think we can explore anywhere else right now. Nope. So now we'll just wait.
Fuel will be launching shortly.
And the beginning plays really slow.
Beware of frostbite. Keep your
It's
face
mostly
and
just
ears
these
covered.
things here. Now we can either go ahead and we can research the coal mines that they want us to research, or we can research something else. I usually either do housing block or logistics bay, just because we're going to have a lot of coal from the Frostland. So I'm going to research the Vanguard logistics bay. We'll just continue on. And now we're just waiting for those the Frostland teams to come back. Both of them are done. So now we've got the options here. So this fishing village, we can take in those people and then we can harvest the food. So now we'll be supplying ourselves with food. We can continue to our west with one team. Up here, there's an abandoned coal mine, so we're gonna keep the prefabs there, and then we're gonna connect these trails. And what that'll do is that'll get us a steady supply of coal from there. And then we have another option. We can bring in more people, but that's for later. And this is for steam cores, but that's not a prerogative right now. So those people are coming back now, so we can go ahead and we'll up the amount of housing that we have. And now we're a little bit in a deficit, so we'll build another district. And then this is one of our first choices here. We get to decide who we're going to really ultimately go with. It depends on who you're going to go with. I think the harder playthrough is the stalwarts. That's just my opinion. So I'm gonna go ahead and ban it just because I'm gonna side with the pilgrims on this one when they appear. That is.
Forecast call for colder temperatures. Take action.
Stewart.
Oh, so now we're out of food, but we are getting that extra food from that fishing village. And that'll supply us for a while. Because we have this extra workforce up here, we can actually go ahead and build that. And that should put us right at the edge. Apothecary, yep. So these are the pilgrims joining us now, so it's a separate faction.
The pilgrims are now officially recognized by the city.
Yeah, minus 28. So the thing a lot of people are struggling with is that your food intake and your housing intake and things like that doesn't always have to be positive. Your people are going to be hungry, and it's going to cause like turbulence or tension, I mean. But at minus 28 food right now, they're not going to starve. We're going to be fine. And now we can go ahead and we can research the coal mines. Now, I usually do the dust coal mine, regardless of who I'm going with, just because it's, you're not going to be mining a lot of coal anyways. And the resource output that you need for this is like a lot less. So because it's not a long-term building, and because we have to get it at the beginning of the game, it doesn't make sense to do the ones that the stalwarts want. Just because you don't have the resources to support it, so you're going to be creating a bunch of squalor. So now we've got another place. Bam. So we found the dreadnought. Now this is the dreadnought that's from the prologue, where the nomads were. But we found that. Now we're gonna search to our. Let's see here. Yeah, we're gonna keep heading west because this has more coal for us over here. And then while we're waiting, we can go ahead and we'll build the. We'll take another loan out if we can. Yeah, we'll take a loan out. We'll build the Vanguard Logistics Bay. And that will just make sure that we get more Frostland teams, and we can continue looking around. We're gonna head to our south. Now it's dangerous, so some of them are gonna be injured, but we shouldn't lose a whole lot of them.
The pilgrims will be hosting ice baths and cold breathing sessions tonight at 11 p.m.
And then we can actually go ahead and just get ahead of ourselves. No, we can't, because we don't have the workforce for it. As soon as this is completed, we'll tear that down, and then we'll build the council center.
The stalwarts will announce the name of this.
Oh, we got a random thing. We got more people living among us. So naturally, we have to build more houses now, and we'll build those around these so that way we get more heat. And it comes at just the right time because we can build the council hall. Be able to build our coal dust mine as soon as we get enough heat stamps. Now the first thing that people are going to vote on whenever you build the council hall, this is what gets you access to your laws. And the first thing that they're going to vote on is going to be whether or not you should stay in power. And they're almost always going to be voting against this. So this brings you to the point where you have to negotiate. I saw a lot of people were like, well, I can't manage to stay in power. Well, that's because no one's going to like you in the beginning. No matter how well you play, they're always going to vote against you for the first vote. So you have to negotiate. Usually I go and I find out, okay, well, who has the most delegates? Frostlanders usually have it. We go and we find out what they want. And we'll figure out what they want. And usually it's something like this. Now, they want us to research the survivalist headquarters. So I was planning on doing that anyways. So we'll give them that. Now it's 44 for, 28 against, and 28 hesitant. So usually the hesitant people, it's usually about 50-50. So we're going to win this vote. We're going to get at least 51 votes here. We managed to stay in power. And now I have an obligation to research the survivalist headquarters, but we have plenty of time to do that.
Are you listening?
Well, crime's rising, so that's another issue. And that's another thing, is that you're going to get a lot of things that you're not going to be able to handle right off the bat. So it doesn't mean that you're playing poorly if you have these things going on. It's that you're playing on a hard difficulty, and the game is intentionally trying to throw you a curveball. You're not going to be able to solve all the city's problems at once, and the game knows that. And we got more coal right here, so we'll take that. And even if your stockpile, like if you bring coal in from the Frostland, like a big lump sum, it'll just throw it on top. You don't have to have enough to store it. So we don't have to worry about that.
Stewart.
And our people are getting hungrier now because we do have more population than we had before. So we'll go ahead and build another food district, and this should get us right to the point where we're fine. Where no one's dying, that is. Hag Hills, so we did get some injured, but no one died, which is great. So we've got some prefabs we can take. Population with cores, but we'll do that later. They're never going to die out here, so you can leave them until you want them. And right here is a good spot where you can either get prefabs or relationships. I mean, I'm always going to take the prefabs. You can always improve the relationship with other people by giving them what they want, like in the Senate. I'm going to research the housing block. That way we can shelter some of these people. We're going to go ahead and... Oh, people are dying because of violent criminals. That's to be expected. Let's say no to that.
Brace yourself. Cold is coming.
And then as soon as this is done, what we'll do is we'll destroy this. And the people are going back to work, so then we can do this. And now we're going to be fine on housing. We're going to get those prefabs back. So now we're doing fine. We got to build our dust coal mine as soon as we get more workforce. People come back. Take the supplies or leave the supplies. Yeah, I usually take these supplies just because I never built that base, but that's up to you. This is for materials. We're not going to use that right now. Grab those prefabs and we'll continue south. This is the biggest thing that a lot of people were struggling with, is that unlike the first game, where exploring the Frostland came about a quarter of the way through the game, you really need to explore the Frostland like first thing in this one, because I'm already running out of coal.
Help us keep you warm. To the nearest maintenance office.
And the people hate me apparently. But that's okay. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that on them, so what we can do
Hear us, Stewart!
grant them the agenda, which lets them vote for whatever they want. They want a supporter quarantine, we'll vote for it.
The delegates have spoken.
Even though it failed, they're still happy because they got to pick what law to vote on. And I wasn't ready to vote on anything yet, so... That's fine.
Steward.
We're gonna commit to resolving that issue.
We are
Which
calling you.
children? Okay. They want us to restore trust. That's fine. We'll build the coal dust mine, which will help. And then as soon as this is done, I'm not doing good.
Stealing fuel is a capital.
But
Is murder.
yeah, it's all right for things like you see. It's all right for things like that to happen because the game expects you to struggle in the beginning, like I said. We got more food, so we can harvest that. We'll take the core, and then he'll just go straight back. We're not going to harvest that because we don't need it. This is an expedition, so the reason why I came down here first was, you find these guys. This is Rowett, and Rowett was like an explorer. And so Rowett actually had more people that followed him in this ridgeline area, and we can go there and convince them to come back, but only if we found Rowett. So that's why I went south first. That, and it's less dangerous. It's more dangerous to approach the other way. I'm gonna go to society, and we're gonna vote on family apprenticeship. Is usually what I go for because it gives us more workers. And then grant them the agenda. That's an easy dub. And that'll boost trust and our workforce.
Hear ye. The measure passes.
And now we're getting extra food that we don't need. Everyone's happy. We're doing good. Research skyways because we're gonna need that.
A law has passed in the council. Take heed.
Steward. Steward.
So this is what comes up after you build that building that gets you the extra coal. You have these options. None of these are good. They can get you improved relations, but it's going to result in a bunch of kids dying, or you have to destroy the mines. So avoid all risk, because the alternatives are actually worse. Yeah, you get more coal, but you're going to lose kids and trust, and you don't want that.
Don't shield your apprentice from the dangerous aspects of your job. This is how they learn.
Expedition support, we're gonna vote for that. So yeah, we give them the agenda, they voted on expedition support. It's gonna make our
The
guys
proposed
search
law
faster,
has been approved.
and once they come back, this is the hardest part, she's waiting.
A law has passed in the council. Take heed.
So once they've come back, now what we'll do is we found oil in this old place. You have the option to remove the bodies from the nomads. I mean, either or. So basically the difference is if you remove the bodies, they're angrier with you and you have to give them like 6,000 more oil, but it's not a big deal. I'm just going to respect the dead just because this is the harder path, and if you can do it on that, then if you can do it on the hardest one, then you're going to be fine. We're going to connect these two together. We're going to come down here to Rowett's expedition. We're going to bring them home. 100,000 coal and three cores, and 2,100 new Londoners. And so what'll happen is by the time they get there, we'll be able to, that population, it seems like it's a lot for us to take in, but what we're actually going to do is we're going to immediately ship them to the colony, as well as the wise woman here. So they get here and, oh no, look, we're suffering real bad, right? Well, actually no, because we're going to turn around and we're going to send colonists, and now we're fighting it. Then we're just gonna wait. We're gonna launch that north just because we got the teams. We're gonna grab that because we got the teams. Fix that. We got a little bit of squalor going on because we don't have enough resources, but that's fine. You've got the prefabs to deal with it. We're gonna pass that law that we said that we were gonna pass. I usually do supported quarantine. It doesn't increase tension. Let's see here. I don't want to do that. Frostlanders, they want bio-waste hot house. You're gonna that's something you're gonna research anyways.
The delegates have spoken. The law.
And now really we're just waiting. We'll go ahead and we'll research the bio-waste hothouse just because we're not researching anything. We're just gonna wait on that to get done. Build a subsidized housing block. But what we'll do is we'll expand this district,
invulnerable to others.
and then we'll build that subsidized housing block, which will make it to where we'll get rid of all the cold here. Oh, and so now what's happened is the settlement is completed. We've still got 40 weeks of coal left, and we've got an absolute metric ton of we've got 157,000 coal stocked up. That'll last us about 400 weeks going forward at our current expenditure. And so what we'll do here is we can't use this one because that's where the nomads are buried. So we're going to do two different things. The first thing is we're going to build our houses. So we're going to dig our way down here. And the second one is we're going to start heading towards the oil. So we've got two different deposits that we can get to. The first one's going to be down here. And the second one is going to be up here. Housing district down here in the shelter. It's sheltered from the wind, so what that's going to do is it's going to give us extra heat because we need that. This generator is not as efficient as the one that we have in New London.
Your fellow.
Establish the whale mining outpost. And then we'll come back for that when we've got the money to put it up. So now we're running a little low on heat stamps, so we're going to do the old tried and true method of begging for money from both of the non-factions. Now we've got plenty of heat stamps. We're going to develop oil pump jacks. I'm gonna build extraction districts. We're going to build a subsidized housing block. Make sure everyone here is out of the cold. Another extraction district here. Then we're going to lower the usage down to that.
Offer their services as guides to all travelers. They will
Go back here. We're almost done setting this up. So now we're getting 120. We're going to turn on this generator. Now we're getting plus 30. And then, as soon as this is completed, we'll build the pump jacks on those. We promise to regulate funerals. We're going to go here and regulate them. I usually do harvesting funerals. Just because harvesting funerals, it lowers disease and it speeds up research, and there's no downside to them, so that's a good thing to do.
hear ye, hear ye. Have it.
Dismantle this because we don't need that. We still have a lot of coal.
Attention.
Stupid.
I'm gonna go here. We're gonna use our research transfer and see what all we need. So we're both struggling for food, and how we can fix that is, luckily we had searched earlier and we found this. It's a whale mining outpost, and we're just going to go ahead and do that. And now that's shipping 100 food to New London, which puts us in the green. And then we're going to transfer just a little, we're going to transfer whatever excess we have there. And so, yeah, I know it says we're at -7, but that's not enough for anyone to ever starve. We're going to be fine. And New London, everything is in the green.
Our
We have
elderly
extra people.
citizens are encouraged to pre-register their funeral at their local harvesting parlor.
What we can do is we can build another extraction district here just to use some of the extra resources. Are done. That's what's gonna. It's like the extraction building for these deposits here, and we are going to go ahead and bam, put that on there. And these are practically infinite, and so now that we get plus 112, and that's with the generator on. We're gonna go here to our resource transfer, and we're going to ship 75 of that to New London. Now that we've done that, we've satisfied this goal that we had, which was sending the oil to New London. And that brings us to Chapter 2, Ambitions. And this is where the major break-off happens, where you decide whether or not you're going to defeat the Frost or embrace it. And by embracing it, that means you're going to settle the Frost, or you're going to build one massive uber city that can survive anything. And I will do a video on this next time going forward to show you guys how that works, but that's just about how you should do it. That wasn't min-maxing, but that was showing you the importance of having those Frost land teams going out there and discovering these things. Granted, I have played 3 or 4 different playthroughs so far, so I'm pretty well aware of where the points of interest are in the map I'm looking for. But this is really what you're looking for, is that unlike in the first game where you can actually survive off of what's just in the city, this game expects you to immediately search out and find those resources in the Frostland. You will never be able to survive, especially on Captain difficulty, with just the resources that are at New London. So you're supposed to actually go out and find these resources, and then use those to help springboard you to your colonies, basically. Which wasn't a feature in the first game, which is what a lot of people, I feel like, had struggled with, was that a lot of these concepts are not what people thought they were. They weren't in the first game, so people didn't really understand what was going on, and the game doesn't do a very good job of explaining it. So there you go, there you have it. That's chapter 1 of Frostpunk 2. I'll do another video at a later date to show you guys how to get through chapter 2 and 5, or 2 through 5, that is. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helps you get through the game. It's a fantastic game. I'm really loving it. I'm learning something new every time I play it. But yeah, enjoy.